Part 115. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 1141. This face is actually completely torn. Huang Jiandu clenched his fists tightly, and the murderous intent in his eyes condensed. In fact, he already had the murderous intent in his heart just now, but in the end he held back. Even if the person in front of him is a bastard, he is still the young palace master. Why did the young palace lord abuse him? Don't be in a hurry. If he is really anxious and chooses to attack the young palace lord directly, then he will be killed. Doke felt that he couldn't bear the title of killing the lord. Damn Fang Fan, he actually dared to compete with the young palace master. I'm going to shut you up with facts today. 11. No. 12 trillion top quality divine crystals. This young palace master bid 12 trillion. The Hestian sound of sword life reverberated in the sky above the entire auction, making it particularly high profile and urgent. 12 trillion. The auction item Soul Eater Sky Armor has risen to the price of 12 trillion top grade divine crystals. Is there a higher price? 12 trillion. 20 trillion. Fang Fan made another bid. Without hesitation. It seems that this top quality divine crystal is like a stone on the side of the road, and a large piece can be taken out casually. This is completely crushing. The crushing of financial power. It's absolutely impossible that this Fang Fan is just the concubine of the Chen Tian clan, a consort of the Chen Tian clan. How could there be such a powerful capital? It's just, there must be something wrong here. Haha, think of the respectful attitude of the former Tianyu Chamber of Commerce President Tian Ruhe towards this Fang Fan. Maybe they came from a force more powerful than the Chen Tian clan. It's more powerful than the Chen Celestial clan. Oh, what do you mean? The Chen Celestial clan is already stronger than ever, and the Chen Celestial clan is a third-rank force, stronger than the third-rank force, against the sky, really against the sky. Otherwise, there is no way to explain the phenomenon in front of you. I don't know why, but I actually think what you said makes sense. I think I must be crazy. No. You're not crazy, that's what it is. I don't know why, when I heard that the young palace master of Tianjian Palace pretended to force me, I was very upset, but if it is this big boss Fang Fan, it seems that there will be no such feeling of disgust. Hey, you and I have the same feeling, and I can only say that the young palace master of Tianjian Palace is too capable of pretending. Nausea. The voices of the people who eat melons came from the surrounding, and they expressed the most real thoughts in their hearts. In the VIP box number 5, Jianming grabbed the table with both hands, and an ironwood table had been completely kneaded and deformed. On the side, Huang Jiandoke took a step forward and wanted to speak again. Shut up. Speak to this young palace master again. Jianming's eyes were bloodshot, and the killing intent was concentrated. His sword life was crushed by people in terms of wealth. How noble is he? The third-grade power young master. Can you bear it? Impossible. He doesn't want to be everyone's laughing stock. 30 trillion. Fang Fan. You continue to increase the price. Do you dare? Do you have the courage? The most important thing for this young palace master is the divine crystal. Who dares to continue to increase the price? Add it? Add me. Jianming shouted wildly. When he said the price, the whole body was shaking wildly. 100 trillion. The auction was over, and the melodious voice came again. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 1142. This sound is so powerful. From 30 trillion top quality crystals to 100 trillion directly. Soared several times. Crazy. It's unbelievable from the bottom of my heart, and even, a sense of panic. It doesn't always feel real. Starting with tens of trillions of top-quality divine crystals at every turn, it can only be said that it is strong to a limit. The young palace master of the Heavenly Sword Palace had already raised the price by 10 trillion yuan, and everyone was amazed. For someone like Fang Fan who raised the price of 70 trillion yuan for the best divine crystals, it can only be said that he still felt the tremor from the heart. The strong, naturally should have the demeanor and attitude that the strong should have. I have now confirmed that this Fang Fan is definitely not just the concubine of the Chen Tian clan. I think he is likely to come from a very powerful ancient force. This force, it's very likely to be the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce. So rich, it's not impossible to say that he is a high-level person in the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce. If that's the case, who would dare to compete with him? Isn't this self-defeating? 666. Strong enough to explode. Boss Fang Fan is invincible. I just like the feeling of Big Boss Fang Fan hanging everything. Hey, the auction item worth 800 billion top-quality divine crystals has now risen to 1 trillion, the premium is 10,000%, too strong. I really don't know what these big people think in their hearts, I really don't understand, and I can't figure it out. It's not important, let's just watch it. The more competitive the competition, the more excited I am. In the future, I will have some capital to find someone to brag about. After all, I used to have experience. Speaking of which, it seems reasonable. Some happy and some sad. It is natural for these melon eaters to be excited, because they can eat melon deliciously, and this feeling is quite beautiful. VIP Box Number 6. The Heavenly Fox Saintess of the 10,000 Demons Alliance and the Heavenly Eagle Quasi-Saints of the 10,000 Demons Alliance are here. After hearing Fang Kai's price, Tianying Quansheng couldn't help but sigh. No wonder I wanted to exchange 100 billion top-quality divine crystals for the return of the little golden dragon to the 10,000 Demons Alliance. Fang Fan was unmoved at all. At that time, I thought that Fang Fan was forcibly holding on. Now it seems that people do have such a thing. Capital. 1 million billion top-grade divine crystals can be shouted out casually. How could such a person care about 100 billion? The 10,000 Monster Alliance Tianying Quasi-Saint shrugged, wondering what Fang Fan's purpose was in his heart. Elder Tianying, even if this guy is worth a lot of money, his brain doesn't seem to be very easy to use. 1 billion billions of top-quality god crystals are used to buy a 10-star imperial weapon? What is he thinking about? 1 million billion top-grade god's crystal can be used to buy an ordinary high-level quasi-sacred artifact. This kind of talent is a typical dandy. In my opinion, he is even more dandy than that Tianjian Palace's young palace master Jianming. Standing aside, Tianhu Meyer, who was wearing a pink gauze skirt, commented flatly. From her point of view, she just thinks Fang Fan's behavior is too stupid. Tianying Zunchen smiled slightly. There are rumors out there that Fang Fan is spending a lot of money for beauty. He won't really be auctioning this piece for you at a high price. Soul Eater? Elder Tianying. What did you say? Do you believe those people are talking nonsense? Tianhu Meyer shook her head quickly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1143. She hadn't even seen Fang Fan's face, so how could there be any connection between them forever? If this Fang Fan really has such thoughts, what should you do? Tianying Zunchen narrowed his eyes and asked with a smile. Heavenly Fox Saintess was stunned for a moment. She really hadn't thought about this question. Elder Tianying, this is impossible, don't think about it. Heavenly Fox Saintess shook her head and said quickly. Tianying Quansheng shrugged, but did not continue to ask. Everyone's eyes at the moment are not only on the VIP box number 3, but also on the VIP box number 5. They are all looking at whether the Sword Life, the master of the Tianjian Palace, can still turn the tide and continue to increase the price. In the VIP box number 5, this time, Huang Jiandoke didn't say much at all. He just sat there, silent, and he didn't know what he was thinking. On the other side, Jianming, the master of the young palace of Tianjian Palace, is still gnashing his teeth. 100 trillion top-quality divine crystals. This number, he can't climb it. There is no such capital. He wanted to continue to increase the price, but he stopped when the words came to him. He couldn't help but think what would happen if he continued to increase the price, what serious consequences would it cause, and even, what kind of punishment he would accept after returning to Tianjian Palace. It is understandable to draw a few trillions of top-quality divine crystals to pretend to be happy. Although his father will definitely give him harsh words at that time, it is only 2 reprimands. But if more than 1 trillion top-quality divine crystals are used, then this matter is really serious. 1,000,000 billion top-grade divine crystals are equivalent to a high-level quasi-sacred artifact. For a third-rank force, a high-level quasi-saint can even directly recruit a high-level quasi-saint to work for it. If he is determined to sway the divine crystal out, after returning to the Tianjian Palace, his position as the young palace master will really not be able to be preserved. Tianjian Palace young palace master Jianming wiped the cold sweat on his forehead, and swallowed a mouthful of saliva subconsciously. Fortunately, in the end, he found his way back. Otherwise this is unimaginable. Thinking of that bad picture, Jianming couldn't help but feel a sense of happiness for the rest of his life. This feeling is so real. This time, the young palace master will not increase the price. While talking, Jianming focused his eyes on Huang Jiandoke, who seemed to contain some special meaning. On the auction stage of the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce's high-end auction, auctioneer Meng Ji gradually recovered from the shock. A 10,000% premium, an absolute miracle in her auction career. This is also the supreme honor of being an auctioneer. The current auction price of the 10-star Imperial Artifact Soul-Eating Heaven Armor is 1 trillion billion top-grade divine crystals. Is there a higher price? The first time with 1,000,000 billion top-quality crystals. Second time of 1,000,000 billion superb crystals. Third time with 1,000,000 billion top-quality crystals. Make a deal. Congratulations to this distinguished guest in VIP box number 3 for successfully auctioning off the first auction item. Once the final word is made, everything is a foregone conclusion. 10-star Imperial Artifact of 1,000,000 billion top-quality divine crystals. This is sky-high. The sky-high price that everyone has to look up to. In the end, the young palace lord of the Tianjian Palace was still cowardly and did not dare to increase the price. It seems that there is still a gap between this young palace master of Tianjian Palace and this big boss Fang Fan. Hey, I said that the young palace master of Tianjian Palace was slapped in public by Fang Fan and his hands were cut off. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1144. Tisk tisk tisk, it turns out that this is the case. No wonder the young palace master of the Tianjian Palace has increased the price wildly. It seems that he wants to overwhelm the big boss Fang Fan in this regard. It's a pity that instead of being overwhelming, it became a joke. Ha ha ha. I'm dying of laughter. This is a big joke. This big joke sounds so funny. What is the third rank power Tianjian Palace young palace master? In front of Fang Fan, you can only bow your head. Tisk, so powerful that it bursts. This is the strong one. In the auction, there were jeering voices. Tianjian Palace's young palace master Jianming clenched his fists tightly, and the killing light flashed in his eyes. The anger has completely distorted his face. At this moment, an unparalleled anger and killing intent has emerged in his heart. As the young palace master of Tianjian Palace, he was despised on the spot. Even the black history of the past has all been turned out. The sense of shame made his sword life gradually become mad. Idiot. A bunch of idiots. Fang Fan. Are you very proud? Do you feel that you have overwhelmed me financially? Ha ha ha, actually, in the eyes of this young palace master, you are a joke. A big joke. Spending millions of billions of top-grade divine crystals to buy a 10-star imperial artifact, ha ha ha, blood loss. Only a fool like you would buy it? This young palace lord just raised the price to lure you into being fooled. How is it? Isn't the 10-star imperial weapon of the $1 trillion top-grade divine crystal very useful? I can't, ah ha 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 ha, it's so funny. A 10-star imperial artifact is worth millions of billions of top-quality divine crystals. Chen Tian clan's concubine has such a virtue. I am really worried for Chen Tian clan. With such a concubine, the future will not be easy. Jianming, the master of the Tianjian Palace's young palace, walked over with a look of joy, and as he spoke, his expression became more and more pleasantly surprised. According to this logic of thinking, he definitely belongs to the kind of existence with a very high IQ. Even to a certain extent, Fang Fan was put together. If you look at it this way, then he is not a fool. His personality has directly turned into a resourceful man who cheated Fang Fan. Thinking of this, Jianming's heart suddenly felt very happy. 10-star imperial artifact? Who told you that I am auctioning a 10-star imperial artifact? It is obviously a quasi-sacred artifact. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth rose, a smile appeared on his face, and he seemed to ask strangely. Extremely quasi-sacred artifact? Haha, Fang Fan, are you stupid at auction? Can this be an illusion? If you are a quasi-sacred weapon, I will eat it on the spot. Look, everyone. There is a whimsical person here. I really don't know how his brain grows. He spent tens of billions of high-quality divine crystals to buy a 10-star imperial weapon, but he still doesn't want to admit it. Tisk tisk tisk, this kind of person is actually the most pitiful. Hey, I must regret it now. But what about regrets? Facts are facts. Ha ha ha, idiot. Idiot. The 10-star imperial artifact can be regarded as a quasi-sacred artifact, so poor and crazy. Tianjian Palace's young palace master Jianming was even more excited, and all the words expressed in his words were the joy and excitement in his heart. While talking, tears flowed, and that attitude was quite unbearable. Tisk, you ate my supreme quasi-sacred weapon, wouldn't I be at a loss? How about, let's make a bet. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1145. Fang Fan walked out of the VIP box number 3, the smile on his face was as indifferent as ever. Betting. Ha 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 ha, you still dare to make a bet with me? What courage do you have? But this young palace master really wants to hear what the bet is. Jianming also followed out of the VIP box number 5, holding his head high and proud. While talking, he focused his eyes on Fang Fan. The bet is very simple. If this soul-eating armor is a quasi-sacred weapon, can you help me pay the auction price of this $1 trillion top-grade divine crystal? How? If this soul-eating armor is not a quasi-sacred weapon, it means that I have misunderstood. At that time, I will not only send the soul-eating heaven armor with both hands, but also give you any billions of top-grade divine crystals. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes. Wouldn't it be too wasteful for such a big head to not be pitted? Although it is said that the supreme quasi-sacred artifact is worth 100 billion top-grade crystals, it is definitely worth buying with 1 trillion top-grade crystals, but wouldn't it be more fragrant to be able to prostitute for nothing? What? Don't you still think that the soul-eating armor is a quasi-sacred weapon? You're really giving up your mind. I laughed at this young palace master. But the young palace master likes the spet. If this soul-eating heavenly armor is not a quasi-sacred weapon, the trillions of top-grade divine crystals and soul-eating heavenly armor are mine. Jianming hurriedly shouted loudly, as if he was afraid that Fang Fan would regret it. Fang Fan suddenly laughed. The stupid son of the landlord's family is so deceitful. There is no evidence, let's make a contract. Tianjian Palace's young palace master Jianming hurriedly said again. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth rose slightly. This guy is really good. Arrange everything properly. In that case. And President Lao Tianruhe will give us a testimony. Fang Fan's gaze directly glanced at Tianruhe, the president of the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce on the high platform. At this moment, President Tianruhe is looking at all this with a surprised look on his face. Especially when he heard what kind of contract Fang Fan and Jianming were going to sign, his face was full of bitterness. Your Excellency Fang Fan, I have to remind you that the items auctioned by our Tianyu Chamber of Commerce must have been systematically identified by hundreds of high-level appraisers. Since they identified the soul-eating heaven armor as a 10-star imperial weapon, naturally there is no possibility of fraud. Think twice. Tianruhe took a breath and reminded silently. For him, the existence of those peculiar cards in Fang Fan's hand is the capital of his promotion. Having a good relationship with Fang Fan will be of great benefit to his future. Remind me at this moment, it can be regarded as selling personal favor. Thank you for the reminder from President Tian, but I have made up my mind, and now I hope that President Tian can be a witness. Fang Fan smiled and hurriedly urged. This contract is worth millions of billions of top-quality divine crystals. Tianruhe opened his mouth and wanted to remind him again, but seeing the firm look on Fang Fan's face, he died instantly. This is the end of the matter, and it is obvious that no matter how much you say, it will have no effect. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Fang Fan and Jianming signed an agreement, and Tianruhe was the witness. If someone does not follow the agreement afterwards, then as a witness, you can initiate direct sanctions against the defaulter. Relatively speaking, the credibility is still very strong. This is the boundary of Tianyu Chamber of Commerce, who cannot give Tianyu Chamber of Commerce a bit of thinness. Breach of contract? Non-existent. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1146. Once the contract is completed, this matter is equivalent to the dust being settled. There were horrified expressions on everyone's faces. This soul-eating heaven armor is obviously a 10-star imperial weapon. When did it become a quasi-sacred weapon? Hey, this time, the big boss Fang Fan is going to be tricked. It's a pity. It's not me who signed this contract, otherwise I'll be able to get a million billion top-grade divine crystals and a 10-star imperial weapon soul-eating heaven armor in vain. A fool knows that it is a loss-making business. Why does Fang Fan want to execute it? I don't understand, I really don't understand, I don't understand very well. Could it be, is there any mystery? Mystery? Do you think it's possible? This is an ordinary 10-star imperial artifact soul-eating heaven armor. How is the credibility of the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce? Those treasure appraisers of the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce are too shrewd. It's impossible to go wrong. So, the possibility of a comeback is almost zero. Listening to everyone's words, the smile on Jianming's face became more and more, and he also seemed more and more proud. In my heart I thought to myself, my sword life is indeed a genius, and I can get 1 million billion top-quality divine crystals at will. After returning home, my father will definitely reward you. 1 million billion top-quality divine crystals is equivalent to a high-level standard. The price of the holy artifact, even for Tianjian Palace, is not a small number. Jianming thought so in his heart, and could not help but look at Huang Jiandoke proudly. Young palace master, I think there is something strange here, that Fang Fan is too confident. He doesn't look like a fool, but why did he sign this contract? Maybe, he really has some certainty of winning, young palace master. Huang Jiande gritted his teeth, a hesitant look on his face. From his point of view, I feel that there may be some tricks in it. His sensitivity is very strong. Hearing Huang Jiandaoqi say this, the smile on Jianming's face instantly disappeared, replaced by indifference and anger. Pedantism. Don't seek progress. Old stubborn. This is the age of young people, some immortals can't keep up with the rhythm of the times. Jianming said to himself, although he did not directly say it to Huang Jiandu, but the meaning expressed in the words was already very obvious. On the auction stage at this moment, Fang Fan stepped onto the stage first, and Jianming then stepped forward proudly. In addition, in order to implement the contract, we must conduct a comprehensive re-inspection of the soul-eating heaven armor. More than a dozen elite appraisers of the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce came up and stood by at any time. Check it. Be sure to check it carefully, and don't make any mistakes. Tian Ruhe, the president of the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce, has a calm expression on his face. The matter has come to this point, and all he can do now is to try his best to ensure the rigor of this matter. After 10 minutes, all the appraisers shook their heads. This is indeed a 10-star imperial weapon, there is nothing special. This is the result given by all appraisers. Hearing this sentence, the flush on Jianming's face became more and more obvious. To be honest, he was really uneasy just now. Although he was full of confidence, Fang Fan was too confident. This confidence made him feel ashamed of himself. But now it's a foregone conclusion. According to the bet, when this soul-eating armor is not a quasi-sacred artifact, not only does the soul-eating armor belong to him, but he can also be compensated by millions of billions of top-quality divine crystals. Thinking of this, Jianming could no longer hide the excitement in his heart. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1147. It's all mine. It's all mine. Fang Fan. You lost. The Eclipse Heaven armor is mine. The $1 trillion top-grade divine crystal is mine too. Ha ha ha. You continue to float. You continue to be arrogant. Didn't I beat him to the ground in the end? I am the most worthy of the strong. Because he was too excited, this Jianming even spoke incoherently. As he spoke, his body trembled violently. The excitement in his heart can be imagined. Is it? What if, what happens? After ecstasy, maybe madness. Fang Fan smiled slightly, then strode forward and looked at the soul-eating heaven armor in front of him. Can I see it? Fang Fan's eyes swept around and smiled. Of course, as you please. Tian Ruhe sighed secretly and made a gesture of invitation. Fang Fan, stop struggling, it's useless, can you turn stone into gold? Can the 10-star imperial artifact become a quasi-sacred artifact in your hands? If this is the case, I will die here and believe it. Do not believe. It's not practical at all. If you kneel down and beg me, I might even reward you with the soul-eating heaven armor. The current sword life is completely floating. When speaking, there is no sense of proportion at all, and he is full of pride. Fang Fan didn't care either, the sword life at the moment was just that insignificant little grasshopper to him. Jumping up and down still can't escape his palm, the sense of sadness is evident. When Fang Fan's hand touched the Soul Eater armor in front of him, a burst of golden light flickered. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the first stage task of 9 Armored Unity. Ding! Immediately break the seal of the Divine Armor fragments, and be promoted to the ultimate quasi-sacred weapon. Obtain the title of Picking King. Title of King of Picking and Leaking. Wearing this title increases the chance of finding treasures from garbage by 1,000%. Swish swish, the golden light on the soul-eating armor became more and more kind, and everyone's eyes were focused on this, each with a stunned look on their faces. All this operation seems to be too weird. Gives an unreal feeling. Oh my god. The level of the soul-eating heaven armor seems to be climbing. I have been promoted from the 10-star Imperial level to a low-level quasi-sacred weapon. It's still climbing. High, intermediate quasi-sacred artifact. My god. I read that right? And my own upgraded armor? Is this a magic weapon? Hoo, no wonder the big boss Fang Fan has been increasing the price before, so he had already seen the clues here. A mid-level quasi-sacred artifact is generally worth 10 trillion top-grade divine crystals. There is still a big gap from the auction price of 1 million billion top-grade divine crystals. The gap? Hee, what's the gap? Look. The level is still improving. High-level quasi-sacred artifact. The price of high-level quasi-sacred artifacts generally starts with trillions of billions of top-quality god crystals. So auctioning this Soul Eater armor with trillions of billions of top-grade god crystals doesn't feel like a loss. Boss Fang Fan is so terrifying. Hey, is the gap between them that big? The scene in front of him was very startling for a time. Even a well-informed existence such as Tian Ruhe, the president of the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce, has a surprised expression on his face at this moment. He has never seen a stomach that can quickly advance to several levels. Tian Ruhe looked at Fang Fan, his lips twitched, and a huge wave suddenly appeared in his heart. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1148. Such a miraculous treasure appraising technique has never been seen before. How did he directly discover the problem that so many senior treasure appraisers of the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce had never discovered? This ability has exceeded Tian Ruhe's imagination. Genius. Absolute genius. Tian Ruhe took a deep breath, his eyes twinkling. In his opinion, Fang Fan belongs to the kind of peerless genius in treasure appraising. At this moment, the face of Jianming, the master of the Tianjian Palace's young palace, suddenly darkened. Everyone is praising Fang Fan, isn't it just belittling his stupidity to some extent? Thinking of this, Jianming's face is naturally not much better. Looking at the flashes of light on the Soul Eater armor in front of him, endless jealousy suddenly emerged in Jianming's heart. Jealousy turned him into lemonade. Fang Fan. Haha. What if this soul-eating armor becomes a high-level quasi-sacred weapon? It's all mine. It's all mine. According to the previous agreement, unless the soul-eating armor is a quasi-sacred weapon, you will have to compensate me for the trillions of top-grade divine crystals, and this soul-eating armor is also mine. There was a look of greed in Jianming's eyes. This wave, so cool. The compensation of 1 trillion top-grade divine crystals, coupled with the high-level quasi-sacred artifacts such as the soul-eating heaven armor, is also worth at least 1 trillion billion top-grade divine crystals, which means that he will soon be able to own 2 trillion billion top-grade divine crystals. Thinking of this, Jianming could no longer restrain the ecstasy and excitement in his heart. Hee, according to what you mean, if this soul-eating armor is a quasi-sacred weapon, then won't you pay for me? Fang Fan smiled, the smile on his face became more and more, this feeling still seemed very cool. Fang Fan. Are you still daydreaming? It's a big accident that this soul-eating heaven armor can become a high-level quasi-sacred weapon, and you still want to become a supreme quasi-sacred weapon? Tisk tisk tisk, what are you doing? How can you think so? You have taken all the good things. Impossible. Impossible. Jianming shook his head with a look of disdain. Everyone was taken aback. It seems that if the soul-eating armor is finally fixed at the high-level quasi-sacred artifact level, then according to the agreement, not only this high-level quasi-sacred artifact is a sword life, but even the sword life can get 100 extra compensation for trillions of top-quality divine crystals. This is too cool. I'll go. Does this sword have such a good fate? This is almost equivalent to getting 2 trillion top-grade divine crystals at one time. Hey, it seems to be the truth. Damn it, I'm so jealous. No way, jealousy made me a lemon. 2 trillion billion. What an astronomical sum. My god. This is too cool. Why wasn't Fang Fan fighting with me just now? Otherwise, these divine crystals are all mine. No. No. The situation is not right. Look at you. Hiss, then, the golden light on the soul-eating armor continues to expand. What does this mean? My god. It's true. What's going on? I'm not mistaken. You must be right when you read it wrong. Could it be that the soul-eating heaven armor will continue to be promoted? Hi, is this possible? No. Absolutely impossible. The golden light is getting brighter and brighter. Everyone's eyes were all focused on the soul-eating heaven armor in front of them. At this moment, their eyes widened and their breathing was short. Excitement is inevitable. Because they are about to witness the birth of a miracle. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1149. The high-level quasi-sacred artifact is strong enough, and now there is a higher level one? The golden light became more and more bright, giving people a sense of shock from the heart. Upgraded. Upgraded again. This soul-eating armor is really a quasi-sacred weapon. Hey, see you soon. It's the first time I've seen this kind of armor that can be upgraded by itself. My god. It's so exciting. How did Fang Fan know about it in the first place? Even so many treasure appraisers in the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce couldn't see it, but he was able to know it clearly. My cao. A quasi-sacred artifact. It is worth at least trillions of top-grade divine crystals. Grass. At that time, this Fang Fan spent millions of billions on the purchase of top-quality divine crystals and thought it was a sky-high price. I didn't expect people to be the smartest. This IQ, don't be too strong. Tisk tisk tisk, I don't know about the others. Anyway, standing on this point, I'm really convinced. Trillions of billions of top-quality divine crystals. It took 1 trillion billion to auction off top-quality divine crystals. 9 trillion billion in blood. Ah, I'm so jealous. Brother, you made a mistake in your calculations. In fact, there is one more point. According to the contract between this Fang Fan and the young palace master of the Tianjian Palace, if the soul-eating armor is a quasi-sacred weapon, then it will be auctioned. The expenses will be borne by the young palace master of the Tianjian Palace. And, soul-eating heaven armor is still owned by Fang Fan. In this way, Fang Fan is a god crystal without spending, and a quasi-sacred weapon for nothing. What should I do? I'm getting more and more jealous. Shouting endlessly. Eyes of envy and jealousy gathered towards Fang Fan. In these envious and jealous eyes, there are also a pair of sinister, absent, angry, collapsed eyes. Jianming looked at Fang Fan, his eyes had completely changed color. The desire to kill began to gather in the eyes. Why? Why is it always him who gets hurt? What the hell did he do wrong? How injustice is God? Why let this bastard get these benefits again and again, and he has nothing? Unwilling, jealous, makes his face completely deformed. President Tian, according to the previous contract, I took this soul-eating heaven armor. As for the auction fee, just ask him for it. Fang Fan nodded to Tian Ruhe, the chairman of the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce, and then pointed to the uncertain sword life standing beside him. This is of course. Your Excellency Fang Fan, please take the soul-eating heaven armor. Congratulations, Your Excellency Fang Fan. Tian Ruhe nodded, with an envious look on his face. Even for the existence of his level, the value of a quasi-sacred artifact cannot be taken lightly. Puff. At this moment, Jianming, the master of the Tianjian Palace's young palace, suddenly spit out blood, his body threw himself on the pillar, and his face changed for a while. The ghost knows what kind of resentment he has in his heart at the moment. Conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. You conspire to trick me. Jianming wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and then barked like a mad dog. He said this not only against Fang Fan, but even Tian Ruhe, the president of the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce. You must have long known that this is a quasi-sacred weapon, haha, this double reed sings really well. I didn't expect that the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce, which is famous in all the stars, would actually engage in such a dirty transaction. Isn't it just trying to deceive my divine crystal? Despicable. Shameless. Despicable. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1150. Jianming is already in a state of madness without fear. Anyone dare to scold, dare to say anything. Most of the meaning of these words is to belittle and despise the Tianyu Chamber of Commerce. Tian Ruhe's expression changed instantly. Master of Sword Life, I hope you will be responsible for what you say. I really want to go to Tianjian Palace to ask the Palace Master of Tianjian Palace if he has such a big hostility towards my Tianyu Chamber of Commerce. Tian Ruhe looked at Jianming coldly, and the power of the quasi-sage directly rolled down. Jianming's complexion instantly turned red, and at that moment he even felt a sense of death. Jianming's forehead was covered in cold sweat, and when he woke up, Jianming's face turned pale with fright when he thought of his own words of death just now. Tianyu Chamber of Commerce, a branch of others, can be compared to a third-rank power. Who dares to match the power behind it? Tianjian Palace, is this qualification enough? President Tian, please understand, my young palace master is just too excited, so I said the wrong thing, you mustn't care. This is 100 trillion top-quality divine crystals, which we agreed on before. Huang Jiandoke, one of the 8 absolute swords, hurried over to apologize. Jianming is ignorant, he can't be ignorant. After all, it was all for the Heavenly Sword Palace. At this moment, Jianming didn't dare to say anything more, he could only stand in place without saying a word, but a pair of sinister eyes were always fixed on Fang Fan. In his opinion, the reason why he became what he is now is all because of Fang Fan. Fang Fan is the culprit. If it wasn't for Fang Fan who angered him, how could he come over to bet? If there is no gambling contract, he will naturally not be able to lose trillions of top-grade divine crystals, and he will not be reduced to such a situation. Thinking of this, the feeling of suffocation on Jianming's face became even stronger. Humph. I'll give you a face today. I hope that the young palace master of Tianjian Palace will be more careful in his words in the future. My Tianyu Chamber of Commerce is not an existence that anyone can slander. Will my Tianyu Chamber of Commerce take the initiative to make enemies, but I will not be afraid of one more enemy. Tian Ruhe spoke coldly, his eyes focused directly on Jianming, the master of the Young Palace of Tianjian Palace, with a strong warning. Tianjian Palace's young palace master Jianming stood there, bowed his head, and did not dare to continue to refute at this moment. It doesn't matter at all, but if he provokes an invincible and powerful enemy for Tianjian Palace, then he, the young palace master, can be considered a master. He is still aware of this. Fang Fan nodded to Tian Ruhe, then flew directly to the third VIP box. Whoring for a piece of soul-eating heaven armor for nothing, I am in a good mood. When he reached the door of VIP box number 3, Fang Fan found that the door of VIP box number 2 was suddenly opened, and the woman wearing a white veil appeared in front of Fang Fan again. There is an extremely secret seal in it, how do you see it? The veiled woman in white looked at Fang Fan with curious eyes. Sikong Yuxin blinked, suddenly feeling curious. At the beginning, even she never noticed anything abnormal in the soul-eating armor, it was just an extremely ordinary 10-star imperial armor. It was not until later that the soul-eating armor was continuously upgraded. I felt some clues. Obviously, a terrifying energy has been sealed in this 10-star imperial artifact soul-eating heaven armor. It makes its appearance look like a 10-star emperor.